Let's read this one.
Aeronca C-2. The Aeronca C-2 is an American light monoplane designed by Gina Roche and built by Aeronca Aircraft. Development, edit. Roche monoplane, edit. Gina Roche was a U.S. Army engineer at McCook Field Airfield in Dayton, Ohio. Roche developed an aircraft with automatic stability and was granted U.S. patent number 1,085,461. Roche published his engineering ideas for the aircraft in Aerial Age Weekly and Slipstream monthly magazines. The prototype was started in Ohio in 1923 with the assistance of fellow engineer Quinton Dossey. The aircraft used a triangular cross-section welded steel tube fuselage, with wood wings, was fabric-covered, and used wire bracing throughout. A Henderson engine was installed, but did not perform well. Next, a custom 29 HP two-cylinder Morehouse engine was developed for the aircraft. On the 1st of September, 1925, the aircraft was successfully test-flown. Many pilots including Jimmy Doolittle tried out the aircraft. Wright Aeronautical hired Morehouse and rights to his Wright Morehouse WM-80 engine. Left without an engine, they turned to Robert E. Galloway of the Aeronautical Corporation of America to use the Aeronca E-107 engine. The rights to the aircraft were sold to Aeronca in 1928 as the basis for the C-2 design. Aeronca C-2, edit. The Aeronca C-2, powered by a tiny two-cylinder engine, made its first flight in October 1929, with its public debut in St. Louis in February 1930. It was flying at its most basic. The pilot sat on a bare plywood board. The C-2 featured an unusual, almost frivolous design with an open pod fuselage that inspired its nickname, the Flying Bathtub. It was also nicknamed Egg Knocker and Razorback Dot. The general design of the C-2 could have been inspired by Jean Roche's initial flight experiences with an American-built copy of the Santos Dumont Demoiselle, which had a similar triangular basic fuselage cross-section, and wire-spoked main landing gear wheels against the fuselage sides. The C designation derived from the fact that Aeronca had earlier been formed as the Cincinnati Aeronautical Corporation. Equipped with only 4 instruments, altimeter, oil temperature, oil pressure, and tachymeter, a stick, and rudder pedals, brakes and a heater at extra cost, the C-2 was priced at a low $1,555, later US $1,245, bringing the cost of flying down to a level that a private citizen could perhaps reach. Aeronca sold 164 of the economical C-2s at the height of the Great Depression in 1930 to 1931, helping to spark the growth of private aviation in the United States. The Aeronca C-2 also holds the distinction of being the first aircraft to be refueled from a moving automobile. A can of gasoline was handed up from a speeding Austin automobile to a C-2 pilot, who hooked it with a wooden cane, during a 1930 air show in California. A single Aeronca C-2, Geob, was converted to a glider by H.J. Parham in England after an in-flight engine failure and forced landing. The nose was fed in after the removal of the engine. It first flew as a glider the 15th of May, 1937 and went to the Dorset Glider Club but was destroyed in the club hangar during a storm in November, 1938. Variants, edit. Aeronca C-2. Single-seat light sporting aircraft, powered by a 26 horsepower, 19 kilowatts, Aeronca E-113 piston engine. Aeronca C-2 Collegian. Improved two-seat version, with a wider fuselage, a 40 horsepower, 30 kilowatts, E-113 engine, and a number of design improvements but retaining the open cockpit and strut-braced undercarriage. Confusingly, Aeronca renamed this version the C-3 Collegian. Aeronca C-2N Scout. Deluxe sporting aircraft, powered by a 36 HP, 27 kilowatt, Aeronca E112 or E133 a piston engine. 4 built. Note that AP prefix, as in PC-2N, would indicate that the aircraft was fitted with floats, P standing for pontoon. Surviving aircraft, edit. Canada. 109 C-2 CFAOR on static display at the Canada Aviation and Space Museum in Ottawa, Ontario. United Kingdom. 100 C-2, modified, GEOB under long-term restoration in Cornwall, England as a composite, modified to comply with microlight aircraft rules. United States. 2C2NX626N on static display at the Advarhazy Center of the National Air and Space Museum in Chantilly, Virginia. It is the first production prototype of the Aeronca C-2. It was donated to the museum in 1948 by Aeronca and was restored in 1976. 27 C-2 Sport NC647W airworthy at the Yanks Air Museum in Chino, California. 66 C-2 NC10304 on static display at the Ohio History Center in Columbus, Ohio. A 106 C-2 NNC11276 airworthy, owned by Craig McVeigh of New Carlisle, Ohio. A 151 C-2N Scout N11417 was built as an Aeronca C-1 Cadet but was soon converted to a C-2N. It is on display at the Shannon Air Museum in Fredericksburg, Virginia. A 253 C-2N Scout N13089 on static display at the EAA Air Venture Museum in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This aircraft set 7 records, 5 of which were for seaplanes. 301 to 23 C-2N30RC on static display at the Museum of Flight in Seattle, Washington. Specifications, C-2, edit. Data from Aeronca C-2, the story of the flying bathtub. General characteristics. 1 crew, 1. 2 length, 20 feet 0 in, 6.10 m. 3 wingspan, 36 feet 0 in, 10.98 m. 4 height, 7 feet 6 in, 2.28 m. 5 wing area, 142.2 square feet, 13.2 m. 6 empty weight, 406 pound, 184 kilograms. 7 power plant, 1 Aeronca E107 1.75L flat-feed piston engine, 2630 HP, 1922 kilowatt. Performance. 1 maximum speed, 80 miles per hour, 128 kilometers per hour, 70 kn. 2 cruise speed, 65 miles per hour, 104 kilometers per hour, 56 kn. 3 stall speed, 31 miles per hour, 50 kilometers per hour, 27 kn. 4 range, 240 mi, 384 kilometers, 210 mi. 5 service ceiling, 16,500 feet, 5,032 m. 6 wing loading, 4.92 pound /square feet, 24 kilogram /m. See also, edit. Related development. 1 Aeronca C-1 Cadet. 2 Aeronca C-3. Aircraft of comparable role, configuration, and era. 1 American Eagle Eaglet. 2 Curtiss Wright Jr. 3 Mignet Puducial. 4 Rear Wing Jr. 5 Spartan C-2. References, edit. 1 Carrot McRae, Jack, June, 1958. This month's old-timer, the Roche monoplane. Sport Aviation. EAA, 1415. 2 carat. Jump up to. Payne, Stephen, ED Canadian Wings, Douglas and McIntyre, Limited, 2006, P.163.